all trying to stay warm as winter brings plunging temperatures and snow, but it also presents potential dangers. Nearly 90% of all fire-related deaths are inside homes, and the winter months are the worst. FDNY Lieutenant Anthony Mancuso is here with some safety tips to keep in mind this winter. Lieutenant, welcome.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having us.
You know, very often when we cover these horrible fires in the news, it's the space heater that is the cause of the fire. So what is the correct way to use them?
Okay, well, even this year we had 14 fire deaths from electrical items, and 9 of those deaths were because of extension cords on a heater. Now, if you have a regular space heater, this is the first wrong thing we can't do. We can't have it all tied and bunched up. You got to let the cord be free, and it's got to be placed in an outlet. You can't have this in a power strip or an extension cord. That's when they melt.
Right, and my understanding is you have to have it a certain amount away from distance away.
3 feet. 3 feet from like bedding or anything that can burn. You use your space heater when you're awake. You heat the room up and then you shut it off. If somebody is, like, say, incapacitated, you don't want to put this near their bed. It has to be supervised. So when you're awake, you run it, heat the room up, and then you unplug it.
All right. Another one is you want it on a flat surface.
That's right. A flat surface, or like the one here is you can roll this around. Here's another one with a cord that's wrapped around the holding piece here. You don't want it wrapped up like this. You want it unwrapped, and you could move this one around. This is an oil-filled type space heater, and you want this to be upright like this on the wheels. Never use this like laying down or upside down. That's where it may start to burn.
Okay. One of the big points you were making is don't use extension cords or power strips for these space heaters. But if you do, I have them all over my house, these extension cords.
Well, the power strips are fine, but you cannot put anything that heats or cools in that. So no refrigerators, no microwaves, no space heaters. It's meant for entertainment items, and like a flat screen or your computer, that's fine.
Okay, and you actually brought some pictures that we can look at the power strips that we have and see if there's problems like this, obviously.
Right. Well, we've seen ones where they're damaged like this, and people use the next port, and they keep doing that, and they keep melting them. So you see any damage, it's time to change them. Right. Take a look at your power strip. Make sure it's not. If it's too hot to handle, if you pick it up, there's something wrong with it. If it's shutting down or it has any of this damage, like you see in the picture, you want to change it. Some of these appliances, you got to look at like a 10-year change up, sort of like like electric blankets.
All right, and just extra safety is to look for the UL sign on the
Definitely.
cords.
All your electrical items should have a UL approval on there. It's either a hologram or it's burned right into the back. So you want to take a look at that, even when you go for smoke alarms or carbon monoxide alarms.
And speaking of, there's going to be a big change with the smoke detectors.
Definitely. As of January this year, they said that these battery-operated type that I have here will not be sold any longer. If you have a battery one, there's nothing wrong with it. Matter of fact, you could put a new battery in here. It just tested. It's telling me the battery's good. So if you have one and change the battery twice a year, when you change the clock, test it once a month, you're fine. But as of 2014, this is the one to have. This is a sealed alarm. There's no battery to change. It's good for 10 years. There's a lithium battery in here. And that's what you're going to see on the market. These are smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. You want one on every level. And especially if you have a heating plant in your building or your home where you have gas or oil heat, that's a carbon monoxide issue. You should have a smoke and carbon monoxide alarm.
Very good advice, because again, you know, when we talk about covering fires, it often says it did not have a detector in the house.
That's right.
So now we won't have to remember the batteries.
Well, any carbon monoxide deaths were caused, no one had a carbon monoxide alarm. So we know they work, because people that have died had no carbon monoxide alarms in their homes.
All right, Lieutenant Mancuso, thanks so much.
Okay, thanks for having us.
Andrea, back to you.
Cindy.